Easily the wildest 21 minutes of a pro wrestling match that BC has seen in a very long time. Dynamite, Wednesday, November 15th, 2023. A little go-home show to this Saturday's Full Gear event in the Collision time slot. So AEW tried to put together a compilation of reasons as to why you should tune in this Saturday night. And one of those reasons they gave you last night to try to set the tone for Saturday's event was a street fight. Not just any street fight, but a sponsored street fight. Now, I know in the wrestling community, when you hear about a sponsored match, because WWE does them all the time, and usually there's a collective sigh, a collective moan in the community, because these sponsored matches are not mapped out properly, they're poorly executed, and they're instantly forgotten. Justified. Zombies are taking over the ring. Run, Miz. Take off, Morrison. Zombies. The Pizza Hut matches, where Montez and other wrestlers during, before, and after the match are stuffing their faces with pizza. Watch out for the clothesline. But first, take your pepperoni pizza with you. Thank you, Pizza Hut. Bray Wyatt trying to make the best when the lights go out and he's got to promote Mountain Dew during his match with LA Knight. So you hear about it and you hear that collective moan instantly. Oh boy, here we go. AEW this past week. They say they're going to give you a Dragon Gaiden street fight. BC doesn't know what Dragon Gaiden is. I don't know if that's a movie, a video game, a mixture of the two, a bag of nachos in the chip aisle at the local market. I don't know who's sponsoring this. As I cut this review, I still, coming out of that match, don't know what Dragon Gaiden is. I just don't. Most of you do. I don't. And I didn't care. I just wanted to be entertained. But when you heard this match announced, sponsored, there was a collective moan. And then you heard, well, the Big Show, Paul White, was going to be in this match. And that moan, that sigh got even louder. But then the match unfolded. And for 21 minutes, BC was in awe. Now, a lot of fans love this. They were absolutely captivated throughout. Other fans, they said, this is exactly what is not needed in pro wrestling. This is not pro wrestling. We're supposed to be an alternative. This is WWE crap. Whether you liked what you saw last night or not, eye of the beholder, your prerogative. Whether you think it has a place in pro wrestling, more specifically AEW or not, eye of the beholder, your prerogative. What cannot be argued is the fact that that crowd last night in attendance was truly captivated. And I'm not talking about the rinse and repeat redundancy that we see on most shows nearly every match, where Wrestler A is taking on Wrestler B. It's going to be fast-paced. They're going to do all their spots. High-flying acrobatics, the Canadian Destroyer 640 somersault 780 splash from the top rope. Oh, all of it. And the fans, they're going to chant, "This is awesome. Fight forever." The match will end, the wrestlers will hit the shower, the fans will get a hot dog, they'll come back, 2 more wrestlers will hit the ring, fans will be ready to chant, rinse and repeat, we'll do it all again. No, I'm talking truly captivated. Nobody was doing the stupid golf claps or the dumb chants. You saw fans on their feet, jaws dropped, taking it all in. That is when you are truly captivating an audience. It was wild, it was ludicrous, it was outrageous, it was all of the things, right? That's what BC calls them. All of the things that once drew us to pro wrestling. Those larger-than-life wrestlers that you wouldn't walk across at the local mall. The storylines that truly had you at the edge of your seat. You don't even know how you got there. When the match started, you were slumped down in your couch. By the time the match ended, you were nearly falling off of it. And those moments, the moments where it seemed time stood still, you were so zoned into what you were viewing. For most of us, pro wrestling gave us that experience. There was no form of entertainment that could touch it. Not a show, not a movie, not a Broadway performance. Pro wrestling. Every time you tuned in, you could expect the unimaginable, and that kept us coming back. Now, if you didn't watch this match and you're wondering how wild it was, we're going to go over it. Trust me, I saw things in this match I never thought I'd see in a pro wrestling ring, or at least not all together. And Big Show, Paul White, man, the spot that he did last night, it was not needed. It should not have happened. But I have to give that guy props at his age and his size to do what he did, or at least allow Powerhouse to do what he did to him. We'll talk about it. I just hope the dude is okay. We'll get to that in a couple of minutes. But I want to go over everything that happened before that match just to show you the tone of the night, the atmosphere going into that street fight. The night started with Mox and Yuta defeating Hook and freshly squeezed Orange Juice Cassidy. In fact, if memory serves me correctly, Yuta defeated Hook. So it's not often you see Hook eat an L like that. Even though it's a tag match, that's really big for Yuta. But bigger than that was what happened post-match. Mox having a profound message to Freshly Squeezed, saying, I'm going to grind you into dust and take your international championship. Pretty cut and dry message. Okay, Mox, I don't know if Orange Juice can turn into dust, but Mox says it's possible. And then we went into Hangman Page, Cowboy Page, and Swerve face-to-face with Tony Schiavone. There was a stipulation here where neither dude can touch the other, or else their match for, I believe, Full Gear? That's going to be called off. So neither dude in this face-to-face can touch each other. Okay, I don't mind that at all, right? Because you've already seen that. Just wait on it, right? Build suspense without any physicality. If you do it right, it could be the right decision. This was one of those calls that was actually the right decision because there was a great twist as Cowboy takes out Swerve's lackey, Prince Nana, because Swerve can't touch Cowboy, right? That's the stipulation. So Hangman's like, well, there's nothing saying I can't take out the Prince. And Swerve is like, while he's getting beat down, Swerve is like, what the fuck? So then you have a security guy come out, a bunch of them, and Hangman's taking them all out. Not the first time we've seen this, but there was one security dude that he got flipped inside out like a New Day pancake by a buckshot lariat. And guys, you would have thought he was an acrobatic in one of those Cirque du Soleil type circus shows. I mean, the way this dude got flipped inside out by that buckshot lariat, sold it like $1 million. Easily the best part of this segment, but I really like that little twist. He ends the promo, goes to walk away, but then he comes back. He says, you know what? On second thought, Swerve, there's a stipulation. I can't take you out, but there's nothing that was said that I can't drop him. And Swerve just has to eat that, like has to watch his lackey just get destroyed. Man, those simple little creative decisions, they're not so minor. That's all I'll say. Those minor details are not so minor. Anyway, next up, my girl, Sky Blue, defeated Red Velvet with Code Blue. And Hart and Statlander are watching on. You know how they watch from the monitor. Statlander, your champion. Of course, this is going to set up because Sky Blue won that. Sky Blue now gets a shot at that championship that Statlander holds. But Hart is also going to be in that match. They set up like a triple threat. So Sky Blue earned her right into that match. So that's why Statlander and Hart were watching from backstage. But Taz was hilarious in this. Taz is like, and I'm paraphrasing, but Taz is like, I can't keep my colors straight. He's like Orange Cassidy, Sky Blue, Red Velvet, Paul White, House of Black. He spit out all these wrestler color names, man. It was, I don't know, it popped BC for sure. Listen, the crowd wasn't this into it, but it's hard. Even in 2023, with the rosters they have, some of the best female talent you'll ever witness is in pro wrestling today. And there's just this lack of connection. Both companies, whether it's a Levesque McMahon or a Tony Khan, they truly don't know how to book women's wrestling. They don't know how to give them creative storylines. They're just lost. So, you know, you guys know I'm so high on Sky Blue, and I'm glad she's getting this TV time. But man, it's the bare minimum of booking, and that's why it seems like the crowd just doesn't care about any of it. But for BC, a little bias here, but for me, I love me some Sky Blue. One of the most beautiful women in pro wrestling, I feel, with one of the just greatest assets in the business. That's all. I'll leave it at that. Sky Blue, I'm there. Remote control is down. Big W, she'll be going. I think that's this Saturday, right? Full Gear, that championship match. She'll be going for the title. I don't believe she's winning it, obviously, That's the right call, not to have her walk out with the title. But if she does, I will not be complaining. The Young Bucks defeat Penta and Commander via pinfall. There was a low blow from the Bucks to Commander, further teasing that heel turn from the Bucks. And then that set up the BTE Trig. This was literally not a tag team match. I know most AEW tag matches are just not. They don't follow the rules. It's basically tag team turmoil. Like there's a match called Tag Team Turmoil where all the members can be in. That's usually an AEW tag match. But this one was even more so. Like they made it a point to let you know that they are not abiding by any rules. And this was not a tag team turmoil match, guys. AEW never promoted it as such. There was no tags. The entire match was just all four dudes. Referee didn't even try to tell you or make it seem like he was trying to get anybody out of the ring. It was even beyond tag team turmoil. So when you do that, it just doesn't make sense. If you don't want to follow the tag team rules, because AEW clearly does not want to do it. AEW does not. They just want all the fast-paced, high-octane, flippity-dippity spot fest maneuvers and matches with tag teams. That's clear. And they want to get the This Is Awesome chants and all that, and they got them. So just tell your audience that's the rule in AEW. There is no rope. There is no tags that are needed. Just tell your audience so we can just be done with this. Because for fans like BC, and we're watching a tag team match, that's called a fatal four-way match. When you have four wrestlers in the ring and there's no stipulation like turmoil or anything like that, it's just a fatal four-way. I mean, it's no different than Matt pinning Nick Jackson out of nowhere for no reason. I don't know. That's what you're telling me. There are still a lot of us fans that view tag team wrestling in a traditional sense. It's just odd to me. I don't know. That's all I have for that. It was just a weird match. It just didn't make sense to BC. But what I really enjoyed was a match right before that tag team match and a match right after. Surrounding that Young Bucks match was two squash matches. And I'm so glad that AEW still holds the squash match in high regards. Because a lot of fans may not like it. Oh, that's just filler. That's laziness. No, that's how you build wrestlers, if done correctly. Samoa Joe wins a straight squash. Like John Cruz was the dude's name or something. But dude was hilarious. He went for like a splash from the top rope, and Joe just walks away like he's looking at a watch that's not on, obviously. But he's just like, Joe just walks away like a casual walk in Central Park. And while the dude is in the air watching Joe walk away, he's like, what? There's literally like a fight. He's like, huh? As he's midair, and then he just face plants. But Joe beats this dude. And then afterwards gives the stern message to MJF that I will be your tag partner. You have no friends, basically. They're all beating the shit out of you every week. I will tag with you full gear. The only caveat, the asterisk, is that then I get a world championship match. MJF never responds to that. So at the end of the night, MJF ended the show and he got attacked by the Gold Unit. That's what I call them. Channel members know what I'm talking about. Bullet Club Gold. Call them the Gold Unit. They just jumped MJF, and Jay White's beating the heck out of him. He holds up the championship. That's actually MJF's, but if you've been watching AEW, you would think that Jay White is literally the champion. He holds the championship way more than MJF. I think of the championship title in AEW, and I think Jay White now. But anyway, that's how the show ended, with Samoa Joe watching backstage like, I could have went and helped you. You never gave me the answer. So, man, I just liked that was all set up by just a simplistic 2-minute squash match. And then there was a squash match with the Guns. Straight up squash. And just there was a promo afterwards, just trying to up their ante, make people believe that they're a real threat to take on Samoa Joe and MJF at Full Gear. You set that up with a squash match. The Guns looked magnificent. In 20 seconds, they defeated Dipshit Dugenheimer and Luigi Lugnuts. Two local jobbers. I don't know who they were. Maybe they were. I didn't even get to see. The match was so quick. That's what she said. But, these jobber matches are needed, and I really appreciate that AEW is starting to tap into that more. Not everything needs to be a 20 to 25 minute banger or clanger match. You don't always got to get the This Is Awesome chants. Because usually when you hear This Is Awesome in 2023, it's not awesome. It's redundancy. These fans are paying just to yell that. They're just waiting for a moment just where they can scream it. And there's nothing wrong with that. You paid your money, have a great time. Shout out, lose your voice. But I hope nobody truly believes that what we're watching today, the redundancy of these shows, is truly awesome. If it was, the ratings would be through the roof, not going backwards. And that leads me in to the street fight. A Dragon Gaiden street fight. Again, I don't know what Dragon Gaiden is, if it's a movie, if it's a video game, a cross between the two, like Last of Us, right? Last of Us was a video game, then it turned into a TV show. I don't know what Dragon Gaiden is. I truly don't, and I never took the moment to look it up. And coming out of this match, I don't know what it is, but it was a big sponsorship in this match. Jericho, Omega, Ibushi, and Paul White, the Big Show, versus Powerhouse, Cage, Takesha, and Fletcher. Now, this is one of those matches, again, where it's going to be polarizing. A lot of people are going to love it because it was so outrageous. You were captivated by it. And then there's going to be those fans, especially the AEW niche fans, that say it has no place. And hopefully we don't have to see something like that again, or at least very few and far in between. Guys, I know it's fun to be niche because you feel like you're a part of something. I get it. Like, it's like the local band that you watch every Friday night at the local bingo hall or the local gaming complex, and you have a little concert there maybe, the local bar, the local hippodrome, who knows? And you go watch your favorite band, right? And you love the fact that they're not mainstream. You love it. And if they ever do get a chance, a big record label wants to sell them for a few $1 million, they finally have a chance to make it big. Instead of supporting them, you call them a sellout. They sold out and now their music sucks. They went mainstream. Well, maybe you just don't like it anymore, but they have every right to try to grow and become bigger and experience more. They have every right to do that. And if you truly love the band, you want the best for them. If you truly love AEW, you want the best for them. You're going to need them to expand. Guys, the ratings are in the tank. They're barely getting 800,000 now. It's going backwards. And soon they're going to be pulling in the same thing that NXT pulled in with 700,000 this week, 703. And NXT's been beating them a few weeks recently, actually. So NXT, they had a 400,000 viewership lead on NXT just a few months ago. AEW's going backwards tragically. If you truly love them, you're going to have to expand your horizons. You're going to have to get casual fans. You're going to have to start to captivate people in other ways because clearly the banger matches and the This Is Awesome Spot Fest matches, it's not working. Once in a while, okay. But it's become so redundant. Those matches have become so the new normal that they're no longer special. What you saw last night in this match, if you just watched the crowd, they were captivated, man. I had friends over last night. We had a writing commitment, a deadline that we had to meet. This is one of the reasons I can't really watch Dynamite live every Wednesday. Usually this is one of the nights we really have to get these writing commitments in. And these friends are not wrestling fans. And I've spoken in many times about certain moments where these friends, either all of them or a few of them at a time, they'll look up at certain moments. And that's how I know, wow, that worked. Whatever we're watching on wrestling. But last night, everybody that was in that room looked up from their laptops, stopped writing on their laptops. It's 2023. We're typing everything. I still got the notepad, guys. I'm old school. But they look up from their laptops. And for nearly the entire 21 minutes, they were in awe. They're not even wrestling fans. They know a lot about it because of BC. They're always over when I got wrestling on. Guys, they were in awe for 21 minutes. Couldn't believe what they were watching. Whether it was good or bad, time stood still. You look at that crowd. That crowd was in awe. Stop the chants. Don't feel like you got to spit out stupid things like this is awesome or fight for. Stop. Calm down. RELAX. Actually enjoy wrestling, right? That's what everyone always tells us when we bitch, moan, complain, because wrestling is not where it should be. Relax, just enjoy wrestling, they tell us. Well, give us something to enjoy. I shouldn't just enjoy wrestling, by the way. I should be captivated by wrestling. I should enjoy a pasta dinner. My wrestling I should be captivated by. But I'll enjoy it. Give us something, man. Entertain us. Last night you saw a crowd that forgot all about chanting. They didn't care about they were trying to take it all in. They were standing up. Probably didn't even realize. Don't even know how they stood up. When they stood up, I should say. How? You pretty much you get up. I get that. But they don't know when. At some point, they all stood up. Their jaws dropped. And they were in awe of everything that was happening. That crowd told you everything you need to know as to if these type of matches have a place in pro wrestling. You're damn right they do. As long as it's executed properly. There was things in this match that were so stupid, and I was there for it. I saw a guy riding a bicycle down a ramp, tapping people with a pipe. I was there for it. That happened. Ibushi. For those of you that don't know, by the way, this is not he didn't just take out a bicycle. He's done this in Japan many times. Full trend. I know a lot of you guys don't watch Japan or anything. He didn't just find a bicycle. He's done this spot before, so this isn't the first time. But still, for the American audiences, for the U.S. crowd watching Dynamite, you got a guy who takes out a bicycle and he rides down the ramp. He's hitting people with a little pipe. That's what happened in this match. You got Paul White, well, out in the parking lot. I love this. This is what I always say, man. Spend a little bit of money. Get a car that's disposable. Rehearse it. It takes time, effort, and care, resources, financials, absolutely. But if you truly are creating a television show, you'll have the spot ready to go. AEW had a car ready. Powerhouse Hobbs is up on a platform. Maybe some wooden pallets. Who knows? They were up there. Powerhouse and Big Show. Paul White. Powerhouse body slams. Tries to anyway. Paul has height. Paul White tried his best to jump into the arms of Powerhouse to help him. But he's so big and Powerhouse is only so strong. And Powerhouse tries to body slam him off the platform through the car windshield. He barely reaches the car. He's so big, so he kind of just dropped him. Paul White almost missed it and hit the hardest part of the car. In fact, some of them did. So we truly hope that Paul White is okay today. He didn't need to take that spot. We believe he is okay because they kept the spot going. I mean, he would have already been loaded up in an ambulance within 10 minutes. But 10 minutes later, they were still taking us back to the parking lot and he was laid out. But you don't know what lingering issues he's going to have, especially I believe he's in his 50s. And he's a big dude. And to take that spot, man, that was wild to witness. But Powerhouse is launching Big Show, Paul White, off the platform via a body slam and through a car windshield. You saw, I think it was Takesha up on the Bud Light concession stand. In the corridors, you know, the Bud Light concession stand, he was up on like the refrigerated beer section of it. He launches himself into Chris Jericho's fire extinguisher. This was all in the corridors. And by the way, they were also fighting in the VIP lounge. I think that was also Takesha and Jericho. You had Brian Cage suplexing Omega from inside the ring to the outside through two tables. And I mean with speed, like lightning speed. This wasn't one of those like, all right, here we go. You're up and here we go. 3, 2, 1, go back into two tables on the... No, Brian Cage had Omega inside. Cage was outside the ropes, outside the ring. And he launches Omega and both of them go through these... Cage looked like he got the worst of it. Omega is bleeding from the arm. Vicious. I think, was it Fletcher who was putting Ibushi through a bunch of chairs on the outside, and there was like a platform. I think it was like a Dragon Gaiden like promotional, like harder poster material, something like that, and he gets like pile drived through it, but he got most of the chairs instead, so he never even hit the mat. He was just laid out on the chairs, and Fletcher was like trying to see if he's okay. I don't even know. I'm trying to think back of just how wild this was on television. I mean, you think back of like Stadium Stampede, I guess, is something that would like coincide with it, but still with the Paul White spot and Ibushi with the fucking on the bicycle. I mean, this was, you could not turn away. I'm very interested to see the rating for that Q segment because I just, if somebody's just flipping through, I don't see how you can turn. I truly don't. It's just about, was there enough audience beforehand That's the problem. And again, you had the squash matches, which, a lot of fans might look at that in 2023 and go, filler. And I wish we can change that narrative. So squash matches are like, oh, something's going to happen in it. Or, this is a superstar I got to be on the lookout for. This is pretty cool. So I'm hoping that narrative changes. But you had squash matches. You had the sky blue red velvet ladies match, which again, for some reason, it doesn't pull. And it starts with the booking of them. It's not on par right now. So you had a lot of things beforehand that the audience could have been lost. So the positioning of this match, I don't know, man. But this was so wild, and I was captivated by it. I like it. I know that it might seem like a hot take. It's probably being panned by a lot of individuals in the pro wrestling world, but you know what? I give AEW so much credit, and I know I'm really hard on them and WWE because I feel justified. They can be and should be better than they are today. All these companies. But I am proud that they are trying new things. Squash matches. Just do it. Giving people like Sky Blue airtime. Do it up. And on top of that, matches like this. I don't like the sponsorship, all right? I get it. But go out of bounds. Go out of the box. Be ludicrous. Dare to be different. Dare to do the absurd. Dare to be stupid every now and again. And I'm not talking Ninja Tozawa comedy stupid. I'm saying do something so off the wall, can't even look away. Do things, man. Try things. I don't like the sponsorship matches, no. But that street fight was hella fun. Couldn't look away. And to see my friends not go back into their laptop once during that 21 minutes, that says everything I need to know. And when you desperately need an audience, you desperately need an audience. For AEW, I say, hey, you're trying, and they didn't even end the night that way. Again, MJF, the whole devil mask thing, and Jay White taking him out, Samoa Joe looking on like, hey, I can be your partner Saturday, but then I get a title match. It leaves all these question marks. If AEW stays on this course and gets better, they have a lot of holes that need to be filled, no question. There's a lot of things that still need to be fixed. But if they continue to do what they're doing, this company has a real chance to catapult right back to where they were. Get there first and then build on that. But first, get back to your 950 and then set up all those goals afterwards. Wildest 21 minutes I've seen in a long time in pro wrestling. On the flip side, guys, over with NXT, and I thank JR9 Gaming, my right-hand man on the channel, for his report this week. Was not able to catch the show, but he kept all of us in yesterday's upload. In the comments, if you want to check out JR9's review of NXT, it is in the comments in yesterday's upload. We did a little What Would You Do Wednesday, a new little thing that I'm doing. So much respect to everybody, and a big thank you to everybody that checked that out. Had a little bit of fun, little game we're playing on the channel. I don't know if it's going to be a standalone upload every Wednesday or part of whatever upload we're doing on that Wednesday, but we're going to keep that around. It was a good response. You guys really enjoyed it, and a lot of laughs, man. You guys popped BC a lot, man. A lot of laugh my ass off moments last night, just with some of the things you guys were coming up with. Just the answers you guys had it was the best, man. Legit laughed my ass off several times. So we're going to continue to do that. But for NXT this week, again, I wasn't able to catch it live. So these reports from JR9 Gaming not just catch up BC on what's happening with NXT, but I know a lot of you guys as well. And according to JR9, there was way more negative than positive yet again this week for NXT. And the rating shows that JR9 nailed it. He's got the pulse of the rest of the wrestling world that caught NXT because the rating was 703,000 viewers, down from 794,000 last week, which means they lost 91,000 viewers. The positives, however, was that Xia Li had something more than just dropping somebody in the middle of the ring like she's doing on the main roster, which I love, by the way. And why she's in NXT, I just would not do that. But the fact that they're giving her layers to what she's doing, like Warriors Tea Party, that really hits into Chinese culture. pretty damn cool. Gacy being on top of the Performance Center to cut a promo, and Chase U delivering or continuing to deliver their incredible storytelling. Those were the positives, but unfortunately that's where it ends. Negatives for this show, and these are just some of them that were in JR9's report. But again, it shows you that how do you lose 91,000 viewers? You just produce television that's just not as good as it should be. Roxy, for instance, losing to Lash Legend. Completely unacceptable. I had to do like a triple take when I read that because I was like, oh, hold on, wait, what? I'm thinking there has to be like ultimate schmozzery here, right? Ultimate cheatery. There has to be like remember Yokozuna versus Undertaker, Royal Rumble, I don't know, or early 90s, right? Was it mid-90s? I don't know. Yokozuna versus Undertaker was a casket match, but Yokozuna defeated The Undertaker, but it took like the whole heel locker room. Do you guys remember? There was like 12 dudes in there, and finally The Undertaker went into the casket. And then it was one of the coolest things. As they're bringing the casket back, the lights go out, the casket's smoking, and The Undertaker rises from the Tron. It was nuts. But I'm thinking, tell me Roxy had like 12 people or something defeating her. No. I mean, there was some schmozzery, but Roxy just lost. That's beyond unacceptable, but I would need a whole nother upload to really explain why this is so unacceptable. And then you had Baron Corbin, not just defeating Wes Lee, who just came back, by the way. So it's Baron Corbin being in NXT, defeating these people still is mind-boggling. He didn't work on the main roster with 12 different characters. We go over them all the time, right? Lone Wolf, Broke Baron, Wrestling God Baron, King Baron, Constable Corbin. There's been so many variations of Baron Corbin, none of them connected. So then they had to bring him back to NXT to do what? Beat all of your developmental talents? So not only does he beat Wes Lee, but then Baron Corbin goes and takes out Dragunov. I almost said Dragon Lee. Dragunov gets taken. Dragunov is your champion, but more than that, he is a viable threat to go to the main roster and defeat people like Gunther, defeat people like Brock Lesnar. And he's a small dude, but believable. You just got to tell the rest of the audience that doesn't know about Dragunov or enough about Dragunov why they should believe that he could slay Goliath after Goliath. But if you're just going to have Baron Corbin take him out, Wes Lee, Dragunov, and Baron Corbin is looking like the badass. That's the last man standing. Baron Corbin. Stop. Unacceptable. That's the only word I can use. Same thing with the Roxy loss to Lash Legend. And then Alpha Academy bringing their comedy to NXT. I can't do it on the main roster, and there's no reason that developmental should be putting up with that. Or Tuesday night's NXT and their audience should put up with Tozawa and Alpha Academy's comedy. So, yeah, JR9, man, such a good report, and it sucks that we have to, you got to do a report like that, but it's honest. It's honest. There was a lot of unacceptable, and that's how you lose 91,000 viewers, man. And if you're not careful, you'll creep right back to where you used to be in the 600s and maybe even the 5s. They had a good surge. The main roster talent really gave them a pulse. It's what you do with it now, man. And this ain't it. And there was a lot of super thanks, Quafies being chucked at the channel over the last several uploads. I don't have the list in front of me, but I want to give a big shout out to everybody that chucked a Quafie to the channel. That does not go unnoticed and unappreciated. Trust me, much respect and appreciation for the Quafies. It's never needed, guys. It's appreciated. So I thank you guys big time. And that was on the Green Bay Packers review, the What Would You Do Wednesday upload. So it wasn't just the straight up wrestling reviews or talk that we do. You guys were just chucking coffees on nearly all the uploads. So I appreciate that big time. Until next time, and I mean like later today, there's most likely going to be, there's a lot more stories I want to discuss, and it'll be for separate uploads. So just make sure you're subbed and notified and ready to rock, because most likely there's more content today. But until next time, and there will be that next time, top guys, we're out. From the red team to the gold unit. Current status, we're out. Peace. Check you.